In 1985, LJN produced a line of toys based on the Rankin-Bass cartoon, Thundercats. It follows the adventures of cat-like humanoid aliens as they escape their dying homeworld, Thundera. Pursued through space by evil mutants, their sworn enemies, the Thundercats crash land on Third Earth and begin to start over. And today, we'll be taking a look at the Lord of the Thundercats, LionO, and his mystical Sword of Omens, here on KREED'S Collection. Alright, here we have LionO, the Lord of the Thundercats. So this was a cartoon that came out of nowhere when I was a kid. I remember watching it and loving it, and this was the hero character, so of course I asked my parents for one of these, and they got me one. So I really didn't play with LionO a lot, but he actually has a lot of wear for a figure that sat on the shelf quite a bit. He looks good on display, I always liked him, but for some reason I just never broke him out with my other toys. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at LionO. So right away, I'm sure you'll notice the face is a great sculpt, as well as the body, costume, all the details are excellent. It looks spot on, just like the cartoon, which is great. And here's the back of the figure. As you can see, there's a switch and then a little plug port, and we're going to get into what those are in here in just a second. First, let's take a look at the copyright date here on the foot, 1985, LJN Toys Limited. Now we take a look at LionO's articulation. Thundercats figures basically were exactly the same as Star Wars. They had the posable hips and they had the posable shoulders there, and they also had a swivel neck, and that was pretty much it. Now this other arm is actually connected to the switch on the back, but you can still pose it. Here's LionO's weapon, the mystical Sword of Omens, and we're finally going to cover what that switch does. So, right here, as you can see, here's a close-up of it, and this is how you activate his Battle-matic action. So, what you do is, you put the Sword of Omens in his hand, and when you activate the switch, he batters his enemies with his mighty sword. Oh, but that's not all. In addition to Battle-matic action, all Thundercats had a small port on their back that allowed you to plug in their included power ring, which sadly, I have lost. However, here's an image of it, and when you plug the ring in, it made the character's eyes light up. It was a really cool feature, and I hope to replace that ring soon. I've been on the hunt for one. Now I'll take a look at some of the wear on the figure. He's got a little bit of a black mark here on top of his head, and for some reason his face and neck area, the paint is a little bit lighter than his arms and legs now. He's also got a small black mark right there on his neck, and if you take a look at his hand here, you'll see that the white paint has been chipped away. Now I did lose one other accessory. It was the claw shield, and it would actually snap onto his hand, and that's what caused all the paint chipping. Here's an image of the claw shield, just in case you were wondering what it looked like. The paint on his sword holding hand is also chipped away due to the fact that I used to remove the sword and put it back quite often. Lastly, there's a little bit of paint wear here on the bottom of the boots, and if you take a look at the Sword of Omens, there's a tiny little bit of the silver missing on the symbol, although mostly it looks really good. And if you look at the tip of the sword, there's a tiny little bit of paint missing there as well. And now for our He-Man size comparison. As you can see, LionO is quite a bit larger than He-Man. However, with the swords and technology slant of Thundercats, I feel like they mix really well with the Masters of the Universe. Everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy review of LionO from the 1985 toy line Thundercats by LJN. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. I review a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so I hope to see you next week and every week after here on KREED'S Collection.